Hey YouTube, this is Don. Today, I know I've reviewed this like more than one time, but I'm gonna try to make improvements. Also, I thought differently about this console right here. So, yeah, today we're gonna talk about the Wii U. Now, the Wii U is obviously like another version of the Wii. So you see, Nintendo come up with this successful, enormous Wii, and immediately into big problems with the Wii U. Now, the Wii U uses the same specifications as the Wii, except what makes it different from the Wii is the Wii U gamepad, which is a neat accessory, which is an awesome controller, but most people thought it was an accessory for the original Wii rather than a whole new console. I personally mistaken this as a handheld console, but it turned out it wasn't. I was wrong. But this is the first console to have controllers that have clicking analog sticks, which is just a really step in the right direction. And it's also got a screen on here, obviously, much like the Switch. Except this is actually it actually turned out the behind the scenes actually is the Wii U was actually turned out to be a prototype for the Switch. At the time it was called Project NX, which I'll talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about this on the Switch video, unless I already mentioned it on the Switch video. The video about the Nintendo Switch, which go back to that video, because in this video we're gonna discuss about this console. Now it's got the same BAXY button as any other Nintendo controller would. It's got a plus and minus button, which is start and select. Plus being start, minus being select. Power button, and you can also use this console as a TV controller. At least this controller, yeah. It's also got a battery indicator, microphone over here, much like the DS or 3DS, home button. It's also got a D-pad, and this thing. So you're wondering what this is? I forgot something. Let me show you what this thing supposedly does. It actually works with these new action figures that Nintendo released, kind of similar to what I remember when I was a child, called a computer game called UB Funkies, which was a neat concept at the time, where each Funky actually unlocks new games that depend on which one you get. The games depend on which Funky you get, but unfortunately apparently the concept, now that UB Funkies is unfortunately gone, has been picked up by competitors, like what you see here with Nintendo. It was a pretty good computer game at the time, and eventually on the 4th generation of it, although eventually on the 4th update it required Wi-Fi for communications with other players on UB Funkies, but however it didn't end well. Probably because of bankruptcy from Retica. And eventually Mattel folded Retica into Mattel, and pretty much got dissolved and got defunct. So I have some UB Funkies at home, but they're not really all that useful anymore. But going back to the Wii U on Nintendo, this is Nintendo's version of UB Funkies. These are called amiibos. I got a Rob the Robot one. Don't worry, I got a Mario one, which is obviously. This is actually a Super Smash Bros. Version amiibo. Like a Super Smash Bros. Amiibo. And it's got a. Don't copy my code, but. But supposedly you place them right here. And much like the 3DS, you can place them right here. Not on the camera, but right here for the Wii U gamepad to scan it. And then scan it into the console. Now, it's also got a camera here. And here's the two. Here's one trigger button, and the other. There's called Z buttons, and the bumper buttons. It's also got a volume dial. It's also got a volume switch for the. It's also got a volume selector for the Wii U gamepad itself, which surprisingly has a built-in speaker, much like the. I don't know. It's also got this pen, stylus pen for the touchscreen itself. Yeah, this screen is touchscreen, but you can only use it on Wii U mode. The Wii mode I'll talk about in just a sec. Here's the port where you can charge the Wii U gamepad with. Here's the headphone jack. You can charge this directly with hold on. With this to plug the Wii U gamepad in the wall, or you could plug this into this charging base that came with the Wii U gamepad, that came with the Wii U, which might be a good idea to have it as an option. But let's just hope they sell it separately in case something happens to it or it breaks. I don't know. Now, stands up like so, sits there like so, and when it's got these metal prongs that touches the Wii U gamepad from underneath to charge it. It's got these, I don't know what these are for. I guess it's meant to stabilize the Wii U gamepad to keep it in place, which might be a good idea. Underneath, it's got, I don't know what this card is, but it's got these gold pieces which uses contacts to charge. And it's also got these holes to help stabilize the thing on the charging base if you're using it, which fits pretty well on the Wii U gamepad. It's also got an AC adapter port in the back, this is it. I'll show you the pin. It's pretty ridiculously long, which is a good idea for Nintendo to include this. Unlike although this might be a smart idea for Nintendo to include a regular wall outlet AC adapter rather than the Switch charging stations nowadays. They rely on a USB adapter and relies on a USB plug, and you have to get a separate wall outlet adapter to plug it into a wall simply, which is ridiculous. I'll talk about that in another video, but here's what the adapter looks like. It's just make sure you keep this, because this is a unique power cord. Oh, sorry. You better make sure you keep this when you first get the Wii U, because this has got to be a unique power cord for the Wii U gamepad. So if you don't have this, or if you most importantly don't have this, you can't use the Wii U gamepad, so you're screwed. But as long as you keep a hold of this, not a problem. So, like I said, you can't plug this into the Wii U console itself, unlike other controllers that we have for other consoles, or even the Wii U Pro controller, which I unfortunately don't have it. But I'll show you what it looks like when I eventually get it. I'm not going to re-review the console, but I'll at least show you what the Wii U Pro controller looks like, probably on the next video when I get a hold of one. But anyway, my friend Corey, if you're watching this, Corey, thank you for the information. I would have never noticed without you. But, like I said, this console's actually turned out to be a prototype for the Switch. Turned out. That's why it might have not sold well. Even Nintendo even makes games that are like modified versions of Wii titles. Though the best-selling games for the Wii U at the time is Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, which otherwise known as Smash 4, which is personally one of my favorite games on the Wii U. Super Mario 3D World, which my brother plays that the most. But you can also play, there's even I don't have a remastered version of Wii Sports for the Wii U, where it uses the Wii U gamepad. But I do have the original Wii Sports for the original Wii, which came with the console when I first got it, but that's another story entirely. But I also have Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which I haven't played in a long time, since I got the Wii U. Now this game is a Wii game. I'm just using this as an example for the Wii U, that's showing that it's backwards compatible with the Wii. This is where the Wii mode comes in. Now the Wii mode is intended to help give the Wii U backwards compatibility and capability of playing Wii games as a backwards compatibility option, which is pretty cool. Except the problem is, by the time the Wii U came out, Nintendo's Wii controllers are no longer in retail stores anymore. So that was a big yikes. But the better side of this is that you can buy yourself a Wii Plus controller, like the blue one I have, or teal I have for the Wii U. You can see it's got the Motion Plus built inside, as it says on the controller. But you can get these separately in stores, even at Nintendo World in New York City, or wherever you can find, or whatever store you can find at them at the time. Which is pretty much your average Wii controller, but with the Motion Plus inside, which I'll talk about in another video. But you can use that as an option for its backwards compatibility. But you can also use that remote to play Wii U games that uses that motion controller. And that's when the sensor bar comes in. Here's the sensor bar for this thing. The cord is ridiculously long, which is acceptable because there's no telling where you're going to position this on top of the TV. Yes, this thing does use the same sensor bar, but not for the Wii U Pro controllers or this controller right here, but rather for the Wii remotes alone. It's the same exact sensor bar as the Wii, but in a black color instead. It's got these stickers to stick it on top of the TV. It's also got the same cord as the original Wii. Sorry, the camera is adjusting. But anyway. Speaking of where it plugs in, let's take a look at the back system. On top it's got the Nintendo logo. Sorry. Anyway, here's where the sensor bar plugs in, and this is the AC adapter port, which is identical to the Wii's, except it's yellow instead of black. I guess Nintendo had to make it yellow so that way it doesn't mistakenly gets mixed up, because it would, I don't know. But it's also got the same audio and video multi-out connector as the Wii, but the only thing the Wii lacks is an HDMI port. Now today the Wii does, now these days either Nintendo or somebody made HDMI interface adapters for the Wii as an aftermarket product for the Wii. Which, that's another story entirely. It's got 2 USB ports in the back, fan. So got these things sticking out to help stand this thing up sideways. But on the front, it's got the disc slot, and if you open this flap, like the Wii, it's got 2 USB ports and an SD card port. Except these USB ports, oh, never mind. It's also got the sync button, which can sync other controllers or the Wii remotes. Which is a pretty tiny button, but it seems handy. It's got an eject button, power button. And now, it's got rubber feet underneath, too, in case you want to lay it flat like what you see here. But let me show you the 2 stands that I got with it. They're 2 separate pieces that come together in one package for the Wii U. Here they are. Now, in order to stand this up like this on sideways, you have to attach them like so, like this, and voila. Now, anyway, now going back to the Wii remote, the downside of Wii mode is that when the Wii U first came out, retail stores stopped selling the classic controller, which is really a big yikes, So you have to get these directly from Nintendo, which is kind of a yikes. But which I'll talk. You can also get a reproduction version on Amazon, which I would recommend it. Which I'll talk about this on another video. Oh, it's also got the same adapter, but Nintendo also sold GameCube they also sold modified versions of GameCube controllers, modified to fit with the Wii remote. At first, I thought they have the same adapter as a GameCube, but what I didn't realize is it's got the same adapter. No wonder why it says it's only compatible with either the Wii or the Wii U. But I gotta say, I think that might be a nice form factor to the, like a nice modification to the GameCube controller compared to the classic controller that I showed off. But you can't. But the only problem is when the Wii U was selling, they don't make nunchuck controls like this anymore. They don't sell them. This is the one I take from my brother's Wii. But don't worry. Don't think of me as a jerk, though. I'll eventually give him back to him as soon as I find a nunchuck controller that is similar color to, that is the same color as this. I promise. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. The console also came with a stand, which you can use to stand up your Wii U gamepad like this. So when you're playing games like Wii Fit U, which is a Wii U version of Wii Fit and the last of its kind to be released, came out, you can use the stand to, you know, to either exercise like what you see on my Wii Fit videos, which I'm not going to cover those anymore since it's too repetitive now these days. Oh, and this thing, I don't know what this is. It's probably a sensor or something, like a motion control sensor, and I don't know. Not intended for the sensor bar, but probably like what the Joy-Cons have. I don't know. Probably similar technology as Joy-Cons, but not really intended. Anyway, guys, I wanted to also show you the HDMI cord. It's pretty much the same length as the Switch. I'm not sure if it's as short as the Switch HDMI, as the Nintendo Switch's HDMI cord or what, but here's the HDMI cord. It's kind of short, but reasonably long, but not too long, unfortunately. Now, here's the AC adapter for this. It's like a brick, a bigger brick than the Wii, the original Wii's AC adapter pack. Here's what the connector looks like, and it's identical to the Wii's, except it's yellow instead of black. I guess Nintendo had to make it yellow so that way they don't confuse it. So that way nobody confuses it when setting it up. Here's the AC adapter. Here's the wall outlet plug. Here's the plug, which is shaped like a small plug, which is a good thing, because even releasing consoles with box-shaped plugs would not be acceptable for these days. The HDMI cord was actually optional. You can actually hook this up to either a CRT TV or a TV with the composite or RCA connectors, as my dad calls it. But anyway, in conclusion, if you're not interested in the Wii U, well, the Wii U may not be... Now, the Wii U may not be all that useful now. Looking at it today with the Switch, now that the Switch has been released, I wouldn't recommend it to play games like Mario Kart 8 or stuff like that. Like Mario Kart 8, for instance. Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is way better than Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. Because unlike Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where all the characters are unlocked, and even has new ones, and even ones that you normally download on DLC for the Wii U, you have to unlock the DLC characters from the Wii U Nintendo eShop. And also, on top of that, you have to, you know, unlock the characters one by one as you progress with the game. which is kind of crappy. Now that I think about it. But there used to be a message chat on the Wii U where you can send messages to other players online. But now that the Switch came out, you can't do that kind of stuff anymore, and it can only be performed at certain times with everything hooked up and everyone using it. And now it's even Nintendo left an email on my email address for my Nintendo Network account mentioning that the chat is now closed. Even the Wii Shop channel is closed down, so that stuff is no longer provided. Now, unlike the Wii Shop channel, unlike being a downloadable file, it has to be broadcasted as far as the downloads are concerned. It has to be broadcasted at certain times of everyone using it, and now you can't get that kind of you can't download that kind of stuff on the Wii Shop channel anymore. It's lost forever, unfortunately. But much like the Wii, you can still download applications for its Wii mode, which is still a good thing. But overall, yeah, like I said, the Wii U, if you're not too interested, if you're gonna play games like, if you're gonna play the same exact games that the Switch already has, then I would recommend the Wii U, though. But if there's some exclusive titles that only came out for the Wii U, but not for other consoles, but not for any other Nintendo consoles, then yeah, you can go ahead and buy this. And they're not really, I'm not sure if they're really high demand. They should be easy to come by. At least places like eBay or Amazon. But anyway, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and like the video, and also be sure to comment, and also hit the notification bell. Yeah, like I said, if you want to be notified of what videos are coming up next, be sure to hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified what videos are coming up next. And you'll be notified of when I uploaded a new video. So yeah, this is me signing off. Oh, yeah, this is me signing off. And have a nice day.